In this video, I'm going to be talking about noise reduction. Ambient noise or background noise is simply the regular room noise you would hear if you turned your microphone on, turned your noise gate off if you have a noise gate on your mixer. Can't tell too much, but I've selected the entire file and I'm going to amplify it. So you can see that in order to get this to 0, I would need to amplify it 45 plus dB. So that's a pretty decent ambient noise where it's kind of low enough to not impact the recording too much. So now you see all that noise that was there is now very visible, but we're going to undo that real quick. And I'm going to amplify it a lot lighter. Let's amplify it about 20 dB. So now it's visible. The only reason I want it to be visible is so you can see this process work. So in this, we'll make sure we unselect the entire file. Let's select a good little bit of this, a few seconds here, a couple, 2-3 seconds here. We'll go up to Effect, Noise Reduction. Let's get Noise Profile. All right, now we'll select everything. Control A on Windows, Command A on Mac. We'll go into Noise Reduction. I think I altered them as I was messing around with this project. Typically, I don't think you go that hardcore reduction. I think you'll go a little lighter. And then it's the sensitivity and the frequency smoothing bands. All of these were at their default except for the noise reduction dB. But let's just click OK. We're going to try to reduce this by 25 dB. So now you see that was plenty enough to get that down there. That still might be way too aggressive. The key is to get rid of the noise without impacting the voice. So when you're doing that, you don't want to overdo it and get way too aggressive. Let's come down a little more. Let's try 15. See what that does. And I can still see some of that noise in there, just barely. So 15 might not be aggressive enough. Let's ramp it up to 20. Let's click that. So there, now I don't see any of it left. This is a good way to get rid of ambient or room noise. Let me do some undos. So there was a click back here before I started. We'll talk about that a little bit. So right in here, there's a little something. We'll amplify it up here. In fact, let's Control A or Command A if you're on a Mac, and let's amplify the whole thing. Take this up about here. So now you can see that and that. So if we were to select some of this, go down to Noise Reduction, get the profile. And then if we select it all again, go back into Noise Reduction and run the process. You'll see we did a good job up here, but we did not get rid of this click and the noise behind that. That's a little bit louder. So a lot of times there's a certain threshold in which you're going to reach in which you're not going to be able to remove the excess noise. So this is more of a, you've hit the microphone stand or banged the table or something has happened that has created that. So in these situations, you could simply come to Edit and Delete. On my keyboard, it's just the Delete key. So just keep in mind, you can run noise reduction on the overall file. It'll get rid of some of that ambient or background noise. Or when you have bigger clicks, pops, things like that, you're going to need to either silence the area or delete the area. Whatever is going to make that recording sound natural in that section. Just don't get too carried away with the noise reduction, because if you do have a gate on your mixer, the opening and the closing of the gate can also impact how this sounds. So you will get that background noise back again behind your voice, especially after you amplify your recorded voice. So you could hear that noise being a backdrop every time you speak. And then every time you stop speaking, it's dead silent and it can be very distracting. Sometimes it's better to just leave the ambient noise in or only moderately reduce it by several decibels. This is something you'll have to play around a little bit with in order to get a sound that is natural for you. But I hope this has been helpful. For more free training, head to freepodcasttools.com.